Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Hub Tuesday demo night. Thank you very much to those that have joined us. My name's Purdy. I'm head of program at Tech Hub London.
Hi, I'm Margaret. I'm program coordinator at TechHub.
So we put on these demo nights every month throughout the year, and we've been doing it for over 5 years now. We've been doing them in person from Google Campus in London, alongside Google for Startups, who is our partner for this evening as well. But for the second month now, we're doing it live on our YouTube channel for the first time. So thanks again to those that's joined. For those of you that haven't been to any of our events before, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about Tech Hub. So we are a community of technology startups and entrepreneurs. There's 400 businesses within our community who are all building technology products. And as well as normally having a home to work from, which is our Tech Hub London base, they've also got access to a growth program that helps them to grow and scale their products. So we run investor coffee mornings, we run events with lawyers, accountants, corporate partners, anything that can help them to scale their business on topics that they need support with. We run a growth program every week of the year. Over the past 8 weeks or so since lockdown, we've introduced 115 startups to investors, with about 25 investors and VCs and angels involved, as well as supporting them in loads of different ways as they scale and with all the challenges that they face. So if you want to find out anything more about Tech Hub, you can check out our website, which is techhub.com. And if you want to have a look at some of the other events that we've got going on similar to Demo Night, then you can check out the events section of our website. We've got a few fireside chats coming up that are open to the whole ecosystem and might be of interest. So we've got fireside chat with the CPO of N26, which is a fintech startup. We've got a fireside chat with the founder and COO of Olio, which is a food waste startup. And we've got another fireside chat with the founder and CEO of The Dots, Pip Jamieson. All of those are open. They're all going to be kind of talks to help everybody understand a bit more about how they scaled their businesses and what challenges they faced and how they dealt with investment and how they dealt with hiring and scaling teams and how they dealt with selling into corporates and all that kind of stuff that early stage startups are going through as well. And that's all open to the whole ecosystem. So do check that out. And if you want to find out anything more, we will share a little bit at the end, and we will send a follow-up email as well to everybody that was registered on Eventbrite. I'm going to pass you over to Margaret Ann, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the format for this evening and a little bit more about how you can get involved and how you can make sure that we get great feedback to the startups that are demoing.
Yes. So tonight we're going to be hearing from 8 different startups from 8 different countries across 6 different continents, including Ghana, Hong Kong, Germany, UK, US, Australia, and Colombia. I hope I'm not forgetting one. So we're going to start off hearing a 3-minute demo followed by a 3-minute Q&A. During the Q&A part, actually during the demos, you can enter in any question that you have in the comment section on YouTube. So be sure to ask any sort of question that might come up when our founders are demoing, and then we'll be sure to call on those questions during the Q&A part. Also, if you'd like any more information about any of the demoers, all of their websites and company names are listed on the Eventbrite. You can find the Eventbrite on our Tech Hub website. It links to there, so you can get in touch afterwards if you'd like to. So right now, we're going to be taking a minute silent tonight because Black Lives Matter. During that minute, we invite you to join us in making a commitment to taking a specific anti-racist action that is within your ability. So right now, we're going to take that moment of silence. Thank you for joining us for that moment. And now we're going to pass it over to our very first demoer tonight, Rudy from Ahira Fitness.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Rudy, and I'm live from Hong Kong, as Margaret Hansen, and I'm the CEO of Ahira. So Ahira is born after the idea because I spent months in doing rehab, doing some weightlifting in order to be stronger in trail running. But I couldn't find any product, any connected product, in order to have a very strong interference with my personal trainer, my coach. And this is why I came with the idea of creating a connected band with an application. So we've started to develop this product. So it's a multi-axis sensors with accelerometer, gyroscope, and it can detect any of your movements when you go to the gym. Then after we created around it a nice shape, beautiful shape, then after interviewing people, we've noticed that people would like it to be magnetic. So we added a magnet into it, so you can either wear it on your wrist, or you can wear it and magnetically attach it to your dumbbells, to your plate, anywhere you want, which is metal. And in order to have a complete experience, we have also developed an application with it. So I'm going to share my screen now with you. And so I'm going to walk you through our application, because that's also our main product. We've developed the entire solution to improve the experience of people practicing fitness. So when you log in, you can create your account, date of birth, your gender, where you're based, your height, your size, and it will help us to calculate your calories you're burning. Then after, when you go to the home, you have your calendar, so you can know exactly what session you've done which day. And in comparison to, for example, people wearing a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, you will be able to see in details what session you've been doing when you go to the gym. This is our main differentiation. Then after, when you go to the activity, you can see what your friends have been doing in order to help you to stay motivated during your training. Because when you go to the gym, very often you're by yourself, you don't know what to do. And so by seeing what your friends have been doing the day before or 2 days before, it helps you to find ideas of new training routine and what to do. And when you click on it, you will have an entire details, how many repetitions, how many series they've been doing. Then after, you will be able to create in detail your training. So you will be able to pick an exercise. In our library, we have set up about 100 or 150 exercises. Then after, you can add in details how many repetition you want to do, how many series, which weight you want to do. You can also set up even the recovery between sets, and it will help you to tailor your training in details. This is what's very important, is we go very much in details of your workout session. Then after, you can share it with your friend in order to create remote competition. Then after, when you go to training, that's also why we are different from our competitors, and what wearables people are actually using at the gym, is because you can follow real-time your training thanks to the device I was just showcasing at the beginning. Because you wear it with these multi-axis sensors, it will be able to detect any of your movements you're doing. For example, here, if we take this exercise, that will be displayed on your smartphone. You will have to do a biceps curls. You have to wear 10 kilos, and you have done already 15 repetitions out of 30. And you have 2 series. You're on the second series out of 3. So you don't have to remember anything on your routine. You follow your smartphone, and you just have to focus on exactly which exercise you have to do, and you don't even have to count your repetition. Then after, when you finish your training, it will give you details, how many calories you burn, how many kilos you've lifted, because it's very important it's a game. So you can compare this, how many kilos lifted, with your friends, and to see that you're better, you've lifted more. And it's not because you lift big that this number is going to be the biggest. If you lift 10 times 40 kilos, it's more than 5 times 50 kilos. Then after, you will have access to, you can set up your personal record. And so, for example, because when you start training, you tend to forget how you start. Then because you can set up your personal best, you know where you were like 2 weeks ago, a month ago. And because you see that you're getting better, it gives you motivation to keep going. So,
Okay. Sorry, we're unfortunately at time, Rudy, but we'll have 3 minutes to cover any more information. We do have a few questions from the audience coming in. The first question is from Michael Simpson, and it is, how many users do you have, and how many are you hoping to have in the next 3 quarters?
yes. So at the moment, we're still in the development mode, and that's why I had to share my screen with you. The application is about 95% ready. We're just fine-tuning it, and we need to have the certification because we're shipping our product worldwide with a battery and Bluetooth connection. So we're actually making sure the certification are ready to go. And we aim to launch the product in September, and by the end of the year, we aim to have around 5,000 users.
Cool. Another question that's come in from Noah. So he asked 2 questions. First one, you mentioned the competition, but how do you feel that you're different from other workout apps that are out there, firstly? And then his second question was, what's your revenue model?
So our revenue model at the beginning will be fairly simple, I would say. The main revenue will come from selling the product. It will be sell 80 euros or 90 US dollars. Then, so this is our main revenue model. Then after we can shift it to a subscription to our application. But at the moment, the sale of the product will be the main sales of revenue. Then after, how we're different from our competitors, it's our competitors that target people moving activities. But for example, if you want to know which session you did a month ago, 2 months ago, with an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, you can only see how long was your session, how many calories you burned, and what was your heart rate, the maximum, minimum, and average. While with us, you will be able to know which weight you use for your squats, how many squats you've done, how many repetitions, how many series, your recovery, and you can also add the feeling, how you felt about it. Like a 1-star, you will be very tired when you were doing it, or a 5-star, you were doing strong.
I have a question. I know we chatted a little bit before about how you've worked with professional athletes and athletes who were meant to go to the Olympics this summer. Can you tell us a little bit about like how that user testing went and how maybe you changed the product or iterated it when you were doing user testing?
So we're based in Hong Kong, and we've worked with a sports clinic here, and they have about between 20 and 25 personal trainers. So you can imagine how many people we've been able to interview during the process. Because each trainer has about between almost 10 clients a day, 5 days a week, so you can imagine. And at the beginning, the product was even simpler than this one. There was no magnet. It was smaller, and people were just thinking, because when I go to the gym, I need to wear straps, and when I do a bench press, or when I do deadlift, or when I do squats, I do them in the same training, but I wear 3 different strapping. So I don't want anything on my wrist because it will just add complication so I will have to move the watch. And so this is why we have added the magnet. Then after, this interview were about not professional athletes. It was people who want to get fit between lunchtime or when they were doing rehab. But we also had the opportunity to work with, as you mentioned, Margaret, and to work with 2 ladies. One is already Olympic medalist in Rio on cycling for Belgium, and the other one is going to Tokyo for the marathon running. So we had the ability to interview a lot of people, a lot of sportsmen, women as well, from different sports, swimmer, runner, cyclist, CrossFit. And so this brought us a lot of features, especially in our application.
Great. Thank you so much. We are at time now, so we're going to hop over to Dan from FinePet. But thank you so much, Rudy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Dan, and I'm from FinePet. We help to recover lost pets by photo using computer vision with machine learning. 10 million cats and dogs are lost every year in the US alone, and a large portion of them never return home. We will either find another family to be adopted, they either get stuck in shelters forever, or they may end up in a kill shelter and would be put down. In some places, it will take you 72 hours before it will be euthanized, before you claim ownership of the pet. So 1.5 million cats and dogs are put down every year in the US alone. So we want every pet returned back home. Our solution is a machine learning algorithm that can identify pets by photo, and then it would search it through all the pets in shelters, all inbound pets at vets, and also through our largest database of lost and found pets. So you just take a photo of your pet, report it, and it's found. So let me show you how it works. To find your pet by photo, go to Find Pet, search by photo section, upload a photo of your lost and found or found pet, and click the Find My Pet using computer vision. Within a few seconds, our machine learning algorithm will find you all the pets that looks like yours. So you browse it through map or through the shop front and say, this is your pet. If it's yours, you just contact the owner. So it's done, like a few seconds, and your pet is back. So essentially, we save your time automating the process. Time is also money, and we save pet lives. Founders know each other for more than 5 years, and this is our third joint startup. So we know how to build IT infrastructure, how to work with AI and computer vision, and how to build the scalable things. And what is most important is that we have all the woof and purr expertise, so we can do it. Thank you very much. That's it, briefly.
Thank you,
Any
Dan.
questions? Welcome.
Ben.
To encourage people to do ask questions using the YouTube chat feature, and whilst we get some more questions come in, do you have any good news stories of owners and pets that you've managed to match together using your product?
We are currently working on a very sad story. A person who got into who was living with a friend, and he made friends with a dog that was kind of mistreated. So scared of living with pets, just meeting any person. And he worked with that pet and rehabilitating it. The sad thing is that they made friends, but eventually were separated. So the dog is lost. So we're now trying to find it. They live both in Phoenix. So we're trying to work out with local press to make it public. It's very nice story and sad, and we hope it will have a happy end.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Is it difficult to get shelters to upload the pictures of the dogs?
So for them, it's not difficult. So we try to make it as simple as possible. And just to let you know, the competitive thing is you have to scan microchip, and that takes a while, and it's expensive, and it requires a microchip scanner. So for them, it's pretty much like take a photo and that's done, and you don't need additional equipment. Like everyone has a smartphone, even underfunded shelters.
I'm seeing a few questions come in from YouTube. First question is, what will you be able to use this for other pets as well, like cats? Or
we are currently targeting dogs and cats and training our algorithm to recognize them, but because this is the largest portion of a pet market, but we'll add other pets too, like cockatoos.
And we have another question coming in too. What's the error rate?
So we call it accuracy, and it's above 90%, and it's going to improve with time. The thing is that we don't need like a super accurate kind of model, because you still, I mean, you got like, instead of scrolling hundreds of thousands of paths, you got like a selection of 12, 20, 10, and you just go through them manually, and but we automate the process.
Another question from YouTube from Tristan. What happens with the animals after 72 hours? Is it possible to filter these and adopt them so they're not put down?
That's a separate story. So if it's a kill shelter, in some shelters, there's like kind of, they stay for 72 hours and then they are actually put down. And in some places, they may stay longer. In some shelters, they would just stay forever until they are adopted. There is lots of initiatives to kind of move pets from kill shelter states to no kill shelter states. Like Chicago is a no kill shelter place. So pets are moved like south or to the north from south. But that's a good thing to take care. It's a big problem.
Yeah.
And last question coming in from Dan, would it be more commercially sound to license the technology?
We're exploring different routes as well, so licensing is an option too.
Okay.
So far it's we're targeting a standalone one, but licensing is an option, and revenue split is an option. So there's a bunch of opportunities, so say, to be tested. And
great.
There's one last question which should be quite quick, but it's quite important, I think. Do you keep the database up to date? So if a dog or a cat has been found, it's marked as that on the site.
We sometimes, like, users will write us that it's that the pet is found. Sometimes we'll, if it's not our own data, we will update it for scraping. So we'll check the status. Sometimes it's not updated. So I mean, it's in our pipeline to do it as up to date as possible.
Okay, thank you.
It's a big problem, yes, as well. Thanks for mentioning.
Thanks, Dan. Right now, we're going to be moving on to Shift Power, who's joining us from America.
Hello. All right, well, good morning or afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are. Let's see, can everyone see my screen? Yes, there we go. All right, my name is Ugwa Maneo, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Shift Power Solutions, an energy technology company that helps businesses and renewable energy companies optimize their energy asset performance and improve operational efficiency in order to disrupt Nigeria's $14 billion annual diesel generator market. Shift is a byproduct of my work as a Stanford engineering PhD student, where I met my co-founder Cole. We've recently been listed as Forbes 30 Under 30 in energy and bring together local knowledge and advisors from the likes of Tesla, EDF, and UC Berkeley. But to give you some context of the market, Nigeria, my family's home country, is set to be the third most populous country in the world, only to China and India, but where an unreliable electricity grid has forced people to rely on over 60 million costly polluting backup generators. But here's the actual problem. Although companies want to integrate solar and batteries into their mix, managing these more complex hybrid power systems at this small distributed scale proves to be challenging. I'll actually give you an example of one of our early customers. I was at the World Bank speaking a couple years ago and met the CEO of one of Nigeria's largest banks, who then shared with me that he spends more on energy across the bank's 300 branches than all of human resources. He wanted to start an initiative to reduce their energy OpEx and integrate solar, but wasn't sure where to start because they had no existing monitoring to provide a true breakdown of cost or efficiencies, and was concerned that having to manage these complex hybrid power systems as a bank could be disastrous. It's for reasons like this that I'm excited to share with you Shift, a patent-pending plug-and-play energy management solution that allows businesses to remotely monitor the real-time status of their energy assets, ranging from solar, batteries, the utility connection, and existing generators, as well as get alerts on abnormal activity or poor performance to support troubleshooting, and use powerful tools on our platform for determining KPIs and pretty detailed reporting. While most other energy management systems only deliver monitoring data, Shift really takes the management to the next level, actually enabling control, automation, and optimization of the system. And whereas previously all of the energy resources would actually have their own monitoring system, if at all, and try to manage themselves, Shift actually connects all of these sources to a single dashboard to optimize them as a single system. Our customers thus far have had such a great experience, seeing up to 60% ROI on their investment on these types of resources, up to 67% reduction in maintenance visits, and actually one of our customers identified nearly $80,000 in potential unaccounted for losses. We've secured partnerships with some of the largest renewable energy companies in Nigeria. We launched in October 2019, and now nearly every major bank has a branch that's using Shift technology, and we're on track to do nearly $1 million in revenue by the end of our first year. In order to support our growth, we are looking to connect with early stage investors or anyone really excited about supporting the clean energy transition. My name is Ugo, I'm with Shift Power. Thanks for the time, and I look forward to your questions.
All right, thank you so much. So, first question. Can you chat a little bit about why the energy is so expensive in Nigeria in the first place?
Yep, no, that's a great question. So what's happening is you have a country that's growing quite rapidly, as I mentioned, going to be the third most populous, only to China and India, but where the existing electricity grid just hasn't been able to grow to meet demand. So it's just really unreliable. So therefore, people actually use these backup gas and diesel generators to get power up to 18 hours a day because the grid is that unreliable. Power from a gas or diesel generator is about 4 to 5 times the cost of power that would come from the grid, and certainly much more expensive than power that would come from solar.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Is it difficult to acquire customers located internationally?
Actually, so it's not. We have operations both in California as well as a subsidiary in Lagos, Nigeria, with a staff and team there. Really what we do is we go after the major renewable energy companies that are familiar with foreign vendors like Schneider, ABB, GE, Siemens. These are energy technology companies where they source their other components. So really we're finding these major power companies and building relationships with them. And they are also quite familiar with technology, energy technology, so their understanding of the solutions that we're providing to them.
We've got a question coming in from Maori. What do you think of the possibility for electric vehicles to provide distributed battery storage for demand response capacity, perhaps coupled with renewable power?
Oh, this is a really exciting question. And so at Shift, we're actually constantly thinking about how we can connect and intelligently manage distributed energy resources of all kinds, so including batteries, EV batteries. Now, while in this market, EV penetration rates aren't as high, we are actually currently conducting studies at looking at other markets. So we actually have a demonstration site that will be getting set up this year in California, where we'll be trying to connect, be able to use, basically do V2G or V2H, so vehicle to grid or vehicle to home power, that will be able to leverage those assets as well. So we're really excited about that space, and if you keep up with us on Twitter, we'll be sure to post what we're up to throughout the year.
Cool.
I actually have a question. What has it been like when you're approaching like large energy corporates? What's been your best tool that you've used to get your foot in the door and start those conversations?
Yep. So really, we started with the customers, with the end users, actually. You might have noticed that I mentioned that we are working with banks. And so because banks really have, or commercial entities really have this energy management problem, They were actually starting to adopt our platform, but then we realized that it'd really be great to go straight to the companies that are distributing the solar and storage and bundling Shift with that installation or with that sale. So we had advocates coming from end users that were escalating us all the way to the major backup power companies. I also previously spent several years actually in the energy sector, working as an environmental and regulatory risk advisor for large infrastructure projects across Africa and South Asia. So part of my network really did help us as well.
Okay.
One more question that's come in. Is there any possibility that the national power suppliers in Nigeria managed to establish a stable grid, which undermines your market or what your product is of?
That's a good question, and the answer is a very confident, resounding no. If you talk to anybody in the energy space in Nigeria and you understand the magnitude of the deficit and the challenges, and it's a full breakdown from the entire supply chain, from generation to distribution. We're really talking about over traditional central infrastructure to a decentralized energy landscape. Think about Africa leapfrogging over landlines to mobile telecommunications. You're about to see the next thing in the power sector. We're not eliminating, or we're not saying that there won't be central infrastructure, but really to grow and scale quickly and deliver clean, reliable, and affordable solutions, it's really going to come from distributed energy resources that may work alongside the grid, which is what we're positioning ourselves to do.
Awesome.
Great, thank you. So with that, I think we're going to have to move to our very next demo, Toyota in the UK. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Costas. I'm the CEO of IntelliStyle. Can you all see me? You can see me. Fantastic. So at IntelliStyle, we provide AI styling services to fashion retailers to help them address the needs of people that are looking for styling advice. Now, the way we do that is by crawling the web for fashion photography, and then we use deep learning to analyze images and text and extract the essence of style. We then use that knowledge to style customers based on the latest trends, as well as their skin tone, their hair tone, their eye tone, and of course, their personal style, because the way that I wear a pair of jeans might be entirely different to the way that you wear a pair of jeans. Now, our AI understands customer style preferences so well that it recently outperformed human stylists at London Fashion Week. Our clients include Dolce & Gabbana, Max Mara, and Lane Crawford, the biggest luxury retailer in Hong Kong. They use our AI for a number of different use cases, such as recommendations on the web or even smart mirrors in physical stores. But today, I'd like to show you our latest conversational commerce product that allows retailers to turn their customer service team into expert stylists. So let's put the demo on. As a result of COVID, more retailers today are looking to recreate online that great in-store experience that they had. So now when customers visit a retailer's website, they can talk to our chatbot, answering the same questions that a real-world stylist would ask them, such as what item are they looking for and what section of the store they'd like to shop in? What occasion are they looking for? So once we have all of that information, we'll start asking some information about their body type and a little bit of information about their skin tone so we can find the right clothes for them. Once we have all of that information, the bot will automatically provide them with full outfits and clothes that are right for them and the occasion that they're looking for. Now, at any point throughout this process, customers can choose to talk to a stylist. At that point, our platform would hand over to the customer service team of the retailer. Now, that customer service agent would be supported by our AI styling platform that allows them to see their customer's conversation history, but also what their profile is, what they like, what they dislike, what they're comfortable wearing, what their body type is, and what inspires them. And with a very simple search, they can find the right clothes for that customer, even if they're not expert stylists, and provide them to them. And in this way, we're moving customer service away from the uninspiring type of customer service where the focus is on solving problems for customers to one where it's all about added value and exceptional customer experience. We're currently live with Max Mara into buying. We're looking for more retailers that want to upgrade their customer experience. So if you know anyone that this would be relevant to, we'd love to talk to them. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Dustin.
First question coming in. The first question from YouTube is, how do you measure that the product outstyles stylists?
So we have a number of different ways. In the particular scenario that I mentioned, we had two sets of outfits, ones that were generated by machine learning, the other ones that were generated by human influencers, stylists, and 70% of customers preferred outfits that were generated by the machine. You can take a look on Forbes and see the full article and all the details of the research that we did. At the same time, retailers that use our service get 130% more revenue than they would get with a generic recommendation service, and that's because they're also fashion specific.
Okay. And the next question is, are stylists worried that you're going to remove their jobs?
Actually, no, I don't think so. These works sort of hand in hand with stylists, and we actually have stylists in our own team. I mean, human creativity really can't be replaced with a machine. So what the machine does is help scale that stylist jobs. I mean, the way things are, stylists are only used for VIP customers because of the cost of that one-to-one service. And what we're doing is taking that knowledge, working with them, and sort of making that service available to a lot more people that wouldn't have the money to pay for it.
Great.
Next question that's come in is, do you have any kind of data or statistics about the success rate of the clothes that you recommend for people who are buying on the sites? Is there any difference in the amount of clothes that are getting refunded, or any kind of reviews that are coming in that show that the technology works?
Mm-hmm. So we do not focus on fit. We focus specifically on style. And what we've seen is that, so for example, we're live with Lane Crawford in Hong Kong. They see an increase in their full price sell-through, which means that customers are choosing to buy items at full price as opposed to discounted items, because they focus on the items that look good on them as opposed to just looking for a cheaper price. Overall, we increased basket size by 42% and conversion rate by 130% for retailers that implement the technology.
Awesome.
It's great to hear. Our last question is, how does this impact or change the rapport and relationship building between stylists and customers?
That's a good question. So we actually think that this helps build that relationship. We started from a very automated service, and we still offer those automated recommendations. But what we found and what retailers told us is that when you have a human talking to another human, the results are much better. For example, River Island found that they can increase basket size by 5 times just by engaging sort of customers with real life stylists. So this is very much about having all the details of the customer there, remembering who that customer is, their full profile, and being able to very easily on different platforms, whether that's on web, whether that's on WhatsApp or elsewhere, to connect with them by showing them the right products at the right time, and make all interactions a lot more relevant, really.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So now we have Emmanuel from BD Waste, who's joining us from Ghana.
Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to BD Waste. So I'm Emmanuel. What we do at BD Waste is to connect local consumers and businesses to waste collectors and recyclers through our mobile and USSD platform. But before then, let me take you to the problem. So there is no day you walk on the street of Africa and not be greeted by waste. The poor sanitation that we face every day is as a result of no connection that exists between the waste generator, collector, and recycler. This leads to over 80% of waste not collected in Africa. So our solution is to allow users to make timely waste requests, online payment, and also allow recyclers and waste collectors trade waste among themselves. So our product has a dashboard which motivates users by giving them the data on the amount of waste they've recycled and the CO2 emissions saved to the environment. We also have the recycling guide that helps them in their recycling journey, what to recycle and what not to recycle. We also have a digital support system that allows recyclers to make online documentation, logistics support, and digital transactions. We also leverage on a Google map with our geolocation, which helps recyclers, waste collectors to plan their routing to effectively manage the CO2 emission they make on the environment and also save on the cost of fuel. So this gives us the opportunity to scale up to serve the $17 billion waste market in Africa. But basically, we are starting from Ghana, which gives us the market opportunity to serve small to medium businesses who are focused on saving time and expenditure. So far, we've been able to collect, that is 120 tons of household waste and recyclables with 6 major recyclers on board. So we have a team that is myself, Sharif, and Yabwa with over 10 years experience in business management, finance, and technology, trained by the best hubs in Africa. So we are happy to welcome you on board. You can find us at bdwaste.com and ready to answer all your questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. First question is, what is the best way you found of acquiring new customers?
Okay, so the best way we found is mostly through word of mouth. When we serve the customers, they tell their colleagues to come on and also do social media marketing to get customers on board.
Great. And the next question is, how often do customers use your site? Like once you've onboarded them as customers, how often do they come back to keep using you?
Okay, so right now the platform is not live yet, so we are doing manual work on grounds. So we do the manual collection. They call us on phone, and we send them to the recyclers. We also have trucks that do the collection. We are working on the platform. Yeah.
Another question that has come in is, what's your revenue model, or what's the plan for your revenue model?
So our revenue generates money in 2 ways. That is, customers pay us a service fee, which is based on factors such as volume of waste or the amount of bins they have in their household. And also recyclers pay us a commission, that is 10% commission on every pickup made.
Sorry, what was that last part? I didn't hear.
The last part is we make a revenue based on 2 models. That is service fee based on factors such as volume of waste or the bins that is in the household. And also recyclers pay us 10% commission on every pickup.
Do you have any competition? Is there anyone else doing the same thing in Ghana or anywhere else in Africa that you know of?
Okay, so in Ghana, the competition we have, they are all doing the manual collection. That is, they do the recycling. No one is hooked up onto a digital platform. And we have the only one who is hooked up onto the digital platform is not having all the features we are having.
Yeah.
And last question, are you considering licensing this technology to countries outside of Ghana, elsewhere in Africa, or worldwide?
Yeah, sure, we are planning to do that.
Where next?
Sorry, can you come again?
Oh, where would you want to expand to next?
Okay, so we are hoping to expand to Senegal. That was during March, we went there to do our market survey. So we hope to launch there. That will be the first African country we would like to go.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thanks, Emmanuel. We're going to be turning it over to Michelle from Bot Friends from Germany now.
Hello, beautiful evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Skadowski. I am co-founder and COO at Bot Friends. We are specialized in conversational AI, and we want to change future communication for enterprises. So after conducting several projects with big clients in the DACH region, we have recognized the problems. And for this, we have built the conversational middleware platform called BotFriendsX. And that's exactly what you're seeing. This SaaS solution is integrating best practice chat and voice bot services from major providers. Like, for example, when it comes to natural language processing, we integrated Dialogflow, which is a technology from Google to understand natural language, but also Rasa, which is open source. And we're also planning to integrate other major providers like Microsoft and IBM. Same goes for analytics systems. So we integrated third-party analytics systems like Chatbase, Dashbot, etc., which can be integrated via just one click. But most importantly, you have all the wide range of channels like messaging channels like Facebook Messenger or the web chat or voice assistants. And for this demo, I want to show you basically our latest development, which is the phone integration. So basically, you are able to integrate Tenio's phone, which is a provider for the phone integration. And now I would like to demo a phone bot that I have built in the intent management system in our platform. So this is specifically designed for departments that have no coding skills to basically edit and manage the chatbot's content independently. So when I call the number that is being provided by Tenios, the message that I want to receive is, "Hi, how can BotFriends help you?" And I'm going to say then that I would like to know more about chatbots. And then the bot should basically say, "Sounds good, a specialist at BotFriends can tell you more. Would you like to be forwarded?" And the last message that should be sent out is, "Okay, just give me a moment." And here I have put in my own phone number, so the user will be directed to me, to the chatbot specialist. And the way it works is that the system basically is given examples, so examples of different questions that users or messages that users could say or write. And based on that, the system is calculating if this is the right answer to give out. But without further ado, let's just try it out. So I'm going to call the number that I have integrated with Tenios. And yeah, let's see if it works. I hope you can hear this.
Hi, how can BotFriends help you?
I want to know more about bots.
Sounds good. A specialist at BotFriends can tell you more. Would you like to be forwarded?
Yes.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
So you can see that I'm being called here, and yeah, that it has worked. So this is our latest development. We're still improving it. However, for chats or voice assistants like Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa, it already works completely fine. The biggest USP is that we are a flexible middleware, so you don't have to rely on one technology provider. And at the moment, we're a team of 20 people based in Würzburg. We have bootstrapped the company, and now we're at the point that we want to scale our platform and be the standard conversational AI platform for all the enterprises in the world. And to do this, we are looking for investors. So thank you very much for listening. And now I'm curious on your questions.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks. All right. First question is, what sets you apart from the other chatbot competition?
So what sets us apart is that we have this middleware approach. So the market is basically, the market has plenty of chatbot providers. However, all those providers deliver a partial solution. So this can be, for example, this chat-based company which was acquired by Google. However, they only offer a analytics software to analyze chatbot conversations, or a dashbot. Same goes for them. Same goes for Rasa, which they have developed technology to understand natural language. However, what enterprises need is a whole solution to have user management, to have an intent management, to edit the content, but at the same time be able to use all those technologies that other chatbot providers deliver, like Rasa, for example. So we're not really a competitor. However, we are an addition for enterprises to use them in a very flexible way, since they are all just integrated in our platform. So this is the main difference. And as I said, we're just a middleware approach, making it possible for companies to use as many technologies as they want, and to combine them depending on their use case, what fits the best.
Is it live now? So do you have?
Yeah, so this is currently live. We already have many customers on this platform, and we are now in the phase that we are adding more integrations. So Rasa is coming soon, technologies from IBM and Microsoft as well. So we are now in the growing phase of expanding our platform, as well as acquiring more customers on our platform.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your enterprise customers and how long you've been working with them?
So we basically officially launched the platform just in March. We basically come from a point where we were developing individual solutions for enterprises when it comes to chat and voice bots. So first of all, we acquired many of our existing customers on the platform. So from the hotel industry, also in the energy industry. So yeah, a lot of big enterprises are using them. And they're currently have 1 or 2 use cases on the platform. However, the goal is that the enterprises use this as a center platform and have several departments working on this platform. So this can be the HR department, it can be customer service. So this should be the central point for the IT to scale those conversational AI initiatives across the enterprise.
Do you have any plans to do different languages or be able to understand different accents or anything like that?
Yeah, so the platform is currently in German. However, it also depends on the services that we integrate. So for example, when it comes to, if a company says they want to use Google technology and therefore they integrate Dialogflow, it depends on what languages they offer. So Dialogflow has a wide range of languages they offer, and this is basically the limitation. So the limitation goes, is basically, it goes for the services that we integrate. So if the service allows you 15 different languages, then it's as far as you can go.
And one last question from Joanna. How will you be supporting the software?
So it supports in regards to customer support. So we have I guess a classic software as a service support model where we would offer live chat support within the platform, but also an email. So just general service level agreements that we have. And yeah, not quite sure if that was the right answer to the question.
Also, if you want to correspond more afterwards with the people asking the questions, you're welcome to hop in the chat in the YouTube section as well.
Okay.
So with that, we're going to turn it over to Andrew from Ava, who's joining us from Australia.
Good evening, or in my case, good morning. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, so I apologise for my presentation if I seem tired, if I seem sluggish. That's my excuse. Look, I would like to start this demonstration off with a video that we created in relation to how our product, which I'll explain a little bit later, responds to COVID-19. I think it's going to give you a little bit more of an understanding of what we are and how we're combating this. So.
Hey, sorry. Can you hear me, Andrew? We need to just redo that video and hit the share audio tick box.
Sorry, my mistake. How do I do the share audio?
There should be.
There's a when you hit share Chrome tab, there's a share audio tick box in the bottom left that should allow you to do that.
If I share screen, and then my mistake. I'm sorry, guys. Do you want me to restart it again?
Yeah, you can just restart the video. All good.
Okay. All right. Let me do that.
Well, what a time to be launching a business. Now, despite what is going on in the world, waiting to see what is happening with COVID-19, with health and economies, at Ava, we believe that new heroes, especially in the economy section, will be born. Now, over the last couple of weeks, we've had countless firms across the globe that we've already been in discussions with, asking us if our product is ready. And the reason behind that is that they are needing a new tool to assist their client base, a new tool that will help their clients prevent themselves of insolvency and conquer COVID-19 to become a stronger, more prominent business. Ava is that tool. Now, here at Ava, we believe that accountants, advisors, chief financial officers, and financial firms need to be the hero in this situation. And every hero needs their Excalibur. Ava is that Excalibur. Whilst we can't prevent the imminent demise of businesses across the globe, we can reduce it with Ava. Even though the vast majority of us are stuck at home in isolation, my team and I are ready to tackle this issue and bring a new solution to assist economies and individual companies across the globe. So, from our homes in each of our cities, we say,
now I'm going to stop that there because the rest of the video is just really introducing my team, and I'll go straight into the presentation. So what Ava does is that, in short, we can showcase the financial data of multiple entities on a single dashboard. Now, what I mean by that is we've got an example here for a gym, which is globally. They've got about, I think, 1,700 locations around the globe, F45 training. We can actually showcase how each of these companies are performing financially live any minute, any day. If the accounting software has been updated, then Ava has been updated. And then we identify 14 actual KPIs that we look at and we monitor. Obviously, as an accountant or a CFO to a franchise head office, you're going to be focusing your energy on, let's say, Bondi Beach, rather than you would, let's say, Penrith, because Bondi Beach is running at a 36% health rate financially. Each company or each entity, we can actually then dig down a little bit deeper as to why we've come up with these numbers. Now, I won't go through the whole software that we've got. I'll just take, these are just snapshots to keep this streamlined. But again, you can see the KPIs that we look at. Over on the left-hand side here, we've got bank balance, income and expenses, last 30 days trading. Not too dissimilar than what you would see in your typical accounting software, but the fact is that we're collaborating it all together and then scoring it, analyzing it, and measuring it. So that's the difference that we're offering, putting it all into one, I suppose, particular place. The second aspect of Ava, and then what that then does is we can then generate reports out of that, which a CFO, which if they're to be going to their local Hungry Jack's or franchise, whatever location, they can take these reports out and say, look, this is what's happening with your business. Let's work on this. Same goes with an accountant. They can go to their clients and say, hey, look, this is what's wrong with your company. Let's work on this. The other aspect of Ava is that we have an invitation tool where the accountants can send to their clients, or the CFO of the franchise head office can send to their client a questionnaire based on these 5 key areas of business, saying, where do you think your company is performing at the moment? So we've got financials, we've got sales, we've got team, systems, and risks. And the way that these questions are asked, they are very well written. They're not just pulled out of thin air, but they've been written in a way where they're very easily understood. They're heavily weighted. The answers are heavily weighted, which evidently, once we've completed the questionnaires comes up with the scorecards, which will create a second report, something similar to this. So this is what a business owner, whether it's a client to an accountant or a franchise owner, will send to their accountant or franchise head office, saying, this is what I think is wrong with my business. These are the areas that I think I need help with, rather than the accountant saying, hey, look, what do you need help with in your company? Post-COVID, no one knows how to help companies. Companies are going to turn around and say, right, well, what next? And instead of an accountant or a franchise head office saying, what do you need help with? This is I suppose diving deep into the company and giving those answers back. The way that we structure our pricing, we are a SaaS model. These are in Australian dollars. If we take them down to pounds, we can pretty much halve them. For 10 organisations or less, we're about £15 per organisation. 100 organisations or more, we're about £5 per organisation. This is our team, our CTO Gail, myself, the CEO, and then we've got Sven, who's actually based out of London. He looks after Europe and the UK. Risa, BDM, 2 developers, Thomas and Francois, and Jess, our graphics designer. And that's kind of it for the time being. Again, I apologise for the sluggishness in my presentation, but it's now 3:02 in the morning.
No, all good. Thank you, and thanks for joining us so late there. We appreciate it.
Did you stay up really, really late, or have you woken up really early?
No, I've actually been awake since 5 o'clock this morning. So I'm almost at, I'm now running on 23 hours. So wow. I have these wonderful things. I was showing Margaret the other day when I was speaking to her. I've got these wonderful things called Nodos, which are basically caffeine pills filled with vitamins and minerals. They're fantastic in situations like this, but I'm definitely going to go to bed after this. Love to look at some of the questions. So we've got no sound, no sound, no sound. Okay, fine.
But we do. What is your pricing model, which you touched on? You touched on at the end. So we'll move to the next one, which was how did you select the 14 KPIs that you mentioned, and can the users change those depending on what they want to look at?
Okay, so to answer the second half of that question, no, the user can't change those KPIs. We are looking to add more into them. What we chose is, personally, I've got 12 years experience in corporate advisory, focusing on commercial insolvency and business restructuring. We looked at accountants, we looked at accounting platforms, we looked at the main things that people would care about when measuring a business. So we're looking at income versus expenses, we're looking at profit versus losses. So the main KPIs that we monitor. Eventually, moving forward, we are raising at the moment, we're raising roughly £220,000, which equates to about 400,000 Australian. We don't want to get too complicated. We want our tool to be used by a 6-year-old. We want that simplicity behind Ava. But we do want to increase that library with graphs and numbers and KPIs, more measurables and so forth. The next question is, how do you extract KPIs from companies in real time? Why is the accountant and not the end company your user face? I'm not quite sure what you mean by the company being the user base. The accountant is the client. The franchise head office is the client. So we wouldn't go knocking on the door of a cafe and saying, hey, look, would you like to use our product? We will knock on the door to an accounting firm with, let's say, 500 clients and say, hey, listen, we can showcase the financial data of all 500 of your clients on a single dashboard, highlighting the companies that need your attention the most. And then you can send those invites out to those individual companies, get their feedback, which would then give you the ability to advise those companies on how to restructure their business and become more profitable, grow more jobs, etc., etc. Imagine if Margaret, if I came to you, I think I said this to you the other day, and I was your accountant, and I said, Margaret, let's work on your profit margins. You'd say, Andrew, go away. COVID's ruined my sales. I'm too busy for you right now. Come back to me in 2 months. If I sent you an invitation for you to do this questionnaire over a bottle of wine on a Sunday night, glass of wine, depending on how much you drink. But if you were to do that on a Sunday night, it takes you 20 minutes. Then you'll come back and say, hey, Andrew, listen, did the questionnaire. Looks like our profit margins need to be worked on. Can we do that over the next couple of weeks? Sure, I'll charge you £2,500 to do it for a week or 2 weeks worth of work, but we're going to get you from ABC to XYZ. Yeah, so that's that. We are working in 3 areas, being the UK, Europe, and Australia. Excuse me. With my background being in corporate advisory, we're onboarding companies like BDO London, PwC Helsinki, PwC Sydney. But our typical target market is your franchise with 20+ locations, or an accounting firm with 100+ clients. Yeah, there's another question here. Is there any concerns around explainability, transparency of the data, and analysis of the forwarding KPIs?
And we've got to answer that question quick because we're a little over in time.
Sorry, my mistake. That's
no, you're good.
Look, I'm not quite sure I understand this question. The KPIs, yeah. So when you do go into the software, we do have little hover over question mark bubbles where if you just say profit margin, for example, or income, you hover over the question mark and explains what income means. So we do have definitions for every single aspect of the product. Like I said, we've tried to keep Ava as simple as possible. With a 6-year-old could use it. We've tailored it to the blue collar market with white collar intelligence.
Okay, thank you, and I hope you get to bed shortly.
Can I go to bed, or is there anything else needed from me right now?
You're welcome to jump in the comments in the YouTube section if you want to chat a little bit more with the people asking the questions.
My email was at the end of that. Please share it with people. I'll put it in the comment section. If anyone would like to reach out, please do. But guys, it's now 3:08. I'm definitely going to bed.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this. Yeah.
And now we have Andres from Habeck in Colombia, who's our last demo of this evening. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Good. Just 1 second. I'm gonna share my screen. Don't show this. You can share screen. Okay, should be able to see it. Oh, just 1 second. Sure. All right, you're seeing it? Yep, I think so. Well, good evening, everyone. So I'm Andres from Habeck. Basically, I'm here to show you how we're reshaping how people apply for products and services. But let me start asking you, like, 3 questions. Like, how many forms probably you have, filling in your entire life? I don't know in my case, but I believe there are, like, I don't know, over thousands. Like gym memberships, financial products. I don't know. There are like so many of those. And let me ask you, like, how much time you think you've spent filling out these forms? I believe as well, like, I don't know, like several. I think I cannot even imagine that. But last but most important, like, is your information saved? Like, every time you fill in a form or you hand it, like that information everywhere. Like, I mean, who has it? I mean, do you really know? Do you actually keep track of who might have your information? And I start with these questions because, like, that's a huge problem. Billions of websites and companies across different industries with different forms and application processes that you cannot even keep track of it. So it is very costly for businesses and very cumbersome for customers. So that's why we came up with a platform that enables, or basically we're sort of standardizing the way people should apply for products and services and make it very easy. So very similar to federated logins. I don't know, probably you've seen login with Facebook or Google or LinkedIn or any of those. It's the same concept, but for application processes. So it can go from something very simple as like just signing features and, for instance, gathering all these login media into just one account, to very complex applications for instance, a banking application for a credit card, which this is the demo we're going to work on. So you sort of like see how it should work. So basically you have the standard way to apply for the product. So let's say I go to the HSBC website and I want to apply for a credit card, and I mean, I'm taking the example of financial products, very hard, but can be for anything really. So you say, okay, well, I can apply now for the product, or just use apply using Habak. And basically, the way it works is, you'll authenticate my account, and I'll bring all the data that I already have in the account. The only thing I need to do is ensure that what's the information I'm sharing. And if I need to add more information, I can just add more information depending on the request. I'll have a second factor of authentication to ensure that I'm sharing my information. And once my information is shared, it will run so many processes that I will explain also in a little bit. And voila, you'll have your credit card approved, as fast as that. So basically, we're trying to bring this single button application, and we'll see it also on the website. So let's say again, I've never been to Habak ever before. I don't have an account. It doesn't matter. Like, once you run the whole process, you'll be locked in automatically. So for instance, if I, one second, please. So let's say, I try to put my information here. This can be customizable. So logos, colors, and everything can be customizable for the customer. So if it's blue and you need to change all that information, or here, if it's not a credit card, it's could be a simulator, could be we have geolocalization services. We have over 100 services here that can be you can use, and we're already integrated with so many from let's say. So I'll set that. I can customize also terms and conditions. I can select that for every flow that I can apply now. And I should receive an email shortly. Just 1 second. Okay, so here I have that. These templates also can be configured by the customers. 1 second here, so I can. Actually, I should have taken here. 1 second. Let me just put it here so we can continue on the same screen. So now you have on my right side, well, on the right side of the screen, you'll see my phone as well, because we're getting like all the codes and everything that we need. 5040. Now I can if I want to add also ID verification, so I can add, for instance, verification for my Colombian ID, which we're going to use. So I received that on my phone as well, as you can see. And just 1 second here. Oh, there we go. Oh. So we'll run all the processes, OCRs, and whatever. I mean, there are so many things happening behind to validate the identity. Make sure that, 1 second, let's see, it's like the light that I have here. There we go. And then you will run also checks using QR verification, and well, it depends also on the ID, because ID might change from country to country, so it might vary as well. So you can throw that into the system to ensure that the verification is running through. Cool thing is I can switch from an application, let's say it's stored on the computer, and I don't have a camera, a microphone, or whatever. I can just jump to my phone or jump back to over my computer. So it could be in either of those. So we'll bring all my data. I can accept that, continue, and I can use my camera as well. Let's see here. I can also do all these, surprise, like neutral, happy, and surprised, and it'll recognize all that. Cool thing is, it doesn't matter who's the best provider in the world, because we can always integrate the best providers. So it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, so in this case as well, I get approved for my card. Then I want to formalize. All this is a dynamic form, so customers can, throw in whatever variables. It doesn't matter like how many sections, how many variables in section, and then everything is customizable. So people can use whatever. Let me just finish here. So I can do that and finish whatever. So everything will be customizable for that, and whole thing also, it integrates with signature, electronic signature as well. Like if you want to, okay, let's say we need to upload whatever files as well. I can throw in and out whatever module the customer might need, because probably it could be something very easy, or something very complex, as generated forms and everything to sign, and promissory notes as well. We're connected to like, let's say, Experian or credit risk companies to process the whole thing behind. You can sign like all the documents you need to sign for. I don't know if it's because it's a demo. Let me see if I can open.
Oh, we've got to switch to Q&A quickly.
So
that's
and let me see what it is. And okay, so that's good. So you can as customers, like the owner of the bank can have full control of like how many transactions are going through, and also let me just, you can change, and have, as a customer, you can have full control of who has your information. Like you can access and see, okay, how many people have my information, how many companies, how many banks, how many, health care providers. So all that.
Well, that's actually our first question, which is, how do you ensure that the data stays secure?
Okay, everything is, not even us can have access. There is like a very, secure way where everything is stored. So only the keys given to customers can be able to access that data, which is, and you'll know every time you share, you'll need to authorize every time you say, okay, yeah, I want to share my information with, this bank or this website. You'll know what information that company is asking for. And you'll be able to track it. So different thing like with Facebook, you have no clue what they're doing with your data. Here it's we're ensuring that it's protected, and not even us can see and treat that information. So that's that's what it is. But it will be useful for, as I said, like could be a bank application or just like a gym membership. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just like one single sign-on for all that.
Great.
One question that came up is once you've already put all the information in, say you move house and your address changes, can you change your address in the system and then it sends that to everyone that you've got an account with and it updates automatically?
Correct. That happens. That's exactly what happens. You update all your information. You don't need to have. So we're changing the way like information goes. Like now, companies will need to connect with you, and you'll be able to grant all that. So if you update that information, you will immediately update whatever it is, and you will be hassle-free.
Do you have to have relationships with the financial services or the types of businesses that your customers would be using the data, like the forms with? Yeah, well, it is a network. So all those companies, of course, need to be connected for processing applications. But it is very quickly to set up flows like the one we saw. See how banks say, okay, we're investing millions of dollars in digital transformation. Here, like even a tiny credit union could set up this thing and run it in like a day, and we'll be able to have like all the services that are like a massive bank with all that investment. Same thing, like process online. So you need to do that, but for companies, it's very easy to start like setting up all the flows that needed to be set up for them. So yeah. What's your competition like?
Well, I don't know if you do know. Is there an app for you to manage your information and apply in one single place everywhere? I haven't seen it, but you see developments for selling online platforms, but there is no like a network that actually enables you to apply anywhere. Of course, it is connected to the network, but yeah, we don't see that. And then there is no like a single. You see like login, as I said before, like login with Facebook, login with whatever, but there is no like a single button that you say, okay, just apply here, and I don't have to like worry about like filling more forms. Just sign in here and done. So we haven't really seen it before. So yeah, I don't know in that sense, but if you get to see it, please let me know.
Do you charge the consumer then, and what like what's the revenue model? So
no, it is free for the consumer. So the revenue model is based on it is like a prepaid for companies. So companies can set up their process flow for applications, and they just recharge the account. So it will be per transaction. So whatever they put on the account, they will be debited from their account.
Great. And I think we have one last question, which is, how do you deal with verifiability of data like proof of address or income?
We're also connected with traditional services, as I said, Experian, for instance. So all the data that all those large companies already have, we're connected to. So that's the first step of verification. Then the other is like every time you apply for a different product and you update the information, that's the way also we're sort of verifying. So, but there is like a lot of things like geo-referencing. There are like a lot of services already connected as well. So we sort of verify that all that information and input is validated as well. Like many databases, we're also connected to.
Great. Thank you so much. That's our last question. And if people want to find out more, where can they find you?
Oh, so well, you can go to habeck.com or just drop me an email. Sorry, I didn't put that, but andreas.ramirez at habeck.com, and I'll be able to happy to answer any questions that you may guys have.
Great. Thanks so much, Andres. And to our audience, which always feels weird talking when we can't see you guys. But thanks so much for tuning in. We really hope you enjoyed this evening. We will be having one next month in July. Wow, time goes by so fast. So stay tuned for that. And if you're interested in demoing, we'll be adding more information about how you can apply to demo on the Eventbrite form, which will be up shortly.
And just a reminder again, if you want to find out anything more about TechHub or any of the other events that we've got coming up, it's techhub.com, and you can search everything from there. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye.